The Chicken Sandwich Wars.
Which one is the best?
May I have the Popeye's chicken sandwich, please?
We go bun to bun with insider tasting and getting your hands on your fast food fave.
Where have you been all my life?
And November is outrageous on us. With outrageous x-rays you have to see to believe.
There's a pair of scissors in there.
Plus, emotional support animals. Have we gone too far? Coming up next.
Are you ready for season 11? Taking a look at the rise of the fast food fried chicken sandwich wars. Now, when Popeye's chicken sandwich dropped, there was a rush to stores, and it sold out in 2 weeks. Y'all remember that? Yeah, people just crammed in there. Now, the fancy magazine, The New Yorker, called it, I'll quote them, an exquisite slab of chicken breast, hefty and juicy and snow white in its crenulated armor of that uncommonly crisp fried batter. I mean, wow. That's obviously not a health food, my friends. But, even though it's not a health food, the craze got us thinking. From a food science point of view, why are fried chicken sandwiches so addictive?
For years, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, McDonald's, and other fast food chains maintained an uneasy truce in the chicken sandwich wars. But just a few weeks ago, that all changed when Popeyes announced its own fried chicken sandwich, throwing off the pecking order. The new sandwich was an overnight sensation, sparking a social media frenzy and lines out the door. Chick-fil-A tried to fight back, and Wendy's fired off a few devastating tweets. But Popeyes dominated. Consumer traffic jumped 103%, and restaurant locations were completely overwhelmed. After just 2 weeks, Popeyes announced that the sandwich was completely sold out, indefinitely.
How mad were you when they sold out?
I was real mad. I don't understand it.
It ran out in a week.
Every time I've gone, they've been out.
I guess I'm gonna have to go somewhere else.
Chick-fil-A, for me, because it doesn't disappear.
Ooh. The frenzy even inspired a Halloween costume. And one man even sued the chain for running out of the in-demand delicacy. While the chain insists the sensational sandwich will return, the debate rages on. Who has the best fried chicken sandwich?
And which one is the best?
Popeyes.
When you bite into it and you go, I'm going Chick-fil-A.
I feel like Popeyes is a knockoff.
Wendy's is my go-to.
I like Wendy's chicken sandwich the best.
Popeyes, hands down.
I like Chick-fil-A, but honestly, I like the Popeyes better.
I don't mean to turn this into a Popeyes rip fest, but it's just Chick-fil-A is just hard to compete with.
Fried chicken sandwich obsession has reached a fever pitch. And today, we'll dissect exactly why people are so obsessed.
Joining me is stand-up comedian Chuck Dice, who you just saw hit the streets to find out why people are so full-on obsessed with these chicken sandwiches. What surprised you the most?
I'll tell you, it wasn't whether or not they liked Popeyes or Chick-fil-A. It was the fact that when we asked them to be on camera, so many people went, oh, I can't talk about chicken sandwiches in front of Dr. Oz. They're like, I'm not going to admit to Dr. Oz that I eat fried food. Like many people actually said
They
that.
thought you were punking them.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
I bet.
They thought you were going to pop out somewhere. Gotcha.
So you looked into these sandwiches. Who was eating them? What is this on surge? Where are they coming from?
Well, I have to tell you that a lot of millennials seem to be really keen on the chicken sandwich. But I just think there's something about a delicious chicken sandwich that appeals to everybody, you know? There's just something about, like, the warmth, the breading, everything about it that just makes you feel like, oh, man, life is good.
So I was thinking about these millennials. There's something they're onto that we miss when we're older. So walk me through what's so special about a fried chicken sandwich, what drags everybody in, especially those millennials.
Well, you know, I had to do a lot of research in order to
I'm sure
do this
you did.
segment.
Yeah.
So the first thing you need to do is you need to have a soft, fluffy, pillowy bun. That's the very first thing that you need, you know? And then, on top of that, and a lot of people said this, the quality of the chicken and the seasoning combined with the right amount of breading on the chicken.
It's the ratio.
The ratio. The breading to chicken breast ratio is a big deal. Oh, God, this is so good. Look at this. It's amazing. And then, of course, You want to top it off with something as a condiment, like a creamy sauce, and maybe sometimes just a single pickle. And then, of course, the top bun. And oh my God, I am so hungry right now. I don't know what to do.
All right, you can stick around. When we come back, you're gonna be part of our tasting panel. You're gonna help decide once and for all, head to head, which of these brands has the best chicken sandwich, okay?
Fantastic.
All right, now in the meantime, we asked Ashley Moore from America's Test Kitchen and Cook's Country to help us out. She's gonna seem like every fast food restaurant these days making one of these chicken sandwiches. So you're gonna, if you can, help the entire audience here understand why they've all gotten into this game.
All right, well, there's two main reasons. Number one, economical reasons. So you have chicken, which has always been cheaper than beef. And then also people consider chicken to be healthier than beef. So, but then you start adding eggs, salt, a little bit of pepper, flour, and then you deep fry it, it's not health food anymore.
No longer. That's why when they call it crispy, I wonder, is it really crispy or just fried?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you've tested hundreds of these chicken recipes in America's Test Kitchen. The recipes have changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
If you could just outline quickly what they've done differently to make them taste so much more attractive to today's generation.
Okay, so most simply put, we have added a lot more seasoning ingredients and deep fried to add as much flavor as we possibly can.
All right, and then one final issue. A lot of home cooks struggle to get that intense crisp, right, that the fast food joints have. Turns out there's a reason for that.
Yep.
And it actually helps us understand what's special about what the fast food joints make their chicken with.
It's a piece of equipment called a pressure fryer. And the way it works is as the pressure comes up, the temperature of the oil is going to come up very, very quickly, which means that the chicken in that oil is going to cook very quickly. So you have a recipe that used to take about 30 minutes to cook, and now it's only going to take a couple minutes. That's the birth of fast food fried chicken.
So it looks sort of biggish. Can someone have that in their home, or is that pretty much going to be in a restaurant?
That's a restaurant-only type of equipment.
All right.
I mean, unless you have a huge house.
All right, so it's not bad to go to a restaurant once in a while. Now, in our Food Lab, food scientist Jeff Potter is joining us. Now, here's Jeff's thing. Jeff's had a great book called Cooking for Geeks. I want you to explain it, because I understand it's not just the sight and the smell, it's also the crunch of it, the sound. So let me play this sound for you, see if it gets you all obsessed like it does me. Oh. Sounds like dinosaurs, right?
Right, yeah.
So what is that sound about?
Well, it's about the crispy, crunchy outside of that fried chicken. It's got to have the right texture for you to really get into it and go, yeah, that's the thing I'm craving.
Now, there are two key science elements to this, and we're not going to geek out on this too much, but you need to understand, you're right, there's the science of a fried chicken.
Yeah.
And it's not an accident that what actually described happens. It happens because they've worked through it. There's the Maillard reaction, and there's caramelization.
Yep.
So don't spook us all, but explain what this is.
Well, both of these are browning reactions that relate to how the chemistry of the food tastes. So we all know this picture, and we actually watch what's happening with chicken in front like this. It's kind of familiar. But what happens if we zoom in on this? And we actually go down to the point of what's happening on the surface of that food when we cook it. Well, there's sugar and protein molecules, and these guys, under heat with the frying, begin to combine together. And this is the beginning of the Maillard reaction, which leads to this amazing set of compounds, all these explosions of flavors that makes for a party in your mouth, a party in your brain, and that's why fried chicken is so good.
They're partying it up. It's good to see fried molecules having a good time. So I got to ask this, because I'm Dr. Oz. I can't just talk about fried chicken. I didn't want to do this segment, except they taste so darn good. How do we make a healthier version of a fast food fried chicken that I could live with?
And keep the party going in your mouth.
Yes.
Okay. We are going to use alternative flours. Here, you can just combine a little bit of cornstarch with some almond flour to get a really nice, crispy coating.
Give me an example. So how much do you put in there?
All right, so for this, I would probably put about a teaspoon, at the most, depending how much flour you're using. So usually it's about 2 cups for 3 pounds of bone-in chicken pieces.
And then instead of dairy, you use, well, actually, you could use dairy.
Yeah, I mean, buttermilk is pretty low in fat anyway. And you could just add a couple tablespoons of buttermilk, that's perfect, to your dry ingredients. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna use your fingers and kind of pinch off pieces. You want it to clump at this stage because you're gonna get that super craggy cracks and valleys coating.
Crenulated, they said.
Yes, in that picture right there. Just by adding a little bit of moisture into your dry ingredients.
Okay, and then just to boast to your friends, you put a little whole grain bun instead.
Of course, because it's Dr. Oz. We want whole grain, right?
All right.
All right.
That's how you hack it. But let's get serious about this. I want to go back. We have a head-to-head competition now. Which fast food chicken sandwich is the best? Stay tuned. fast food fried chicken war started when Popeyes introduced a game-changing chicken sandwich that made everyone all go clucking mad. See what I'm doing there, guys? These are not health foods, I gotta admit, but if you have a fried chicken sandwich as a special treat, at least you want it to be the best one. So I brought in a world-class tasting panel to make the ultimate call and end the chicken sandwich wars for good. They're tasted away. Ashley Moore from America's Test Kitchen and Coast Country's leading the way. Stand-up comedian Chuck Nice, who actually interviewed lots of people obsessed with these sandwiches as part of his detailed research. And of course, food scientist and author Jeff Potter, a true expert and the subtleties of fried chicken. Now, in front of you all are 3 fried chicken sandwiches. We haven't labeled any of these because we don't want you to know what they are. It's got to be a blind taste test. Each of you has a paddle in front of you. The paddle says the words, cluck it, right? You can use that for the ones you like or chuck it for the ones that you don't like quite as much. Are we ready to go?
I love that we made my name the bad thing.
Yes. Chuck Nice.
Chuck it.
All right. Chicken sandwich number 1. Cluck it or chuck it? Oh, 2 cluck it's, 1 chuck it. Chuck, what didn't you like about it?
Well, you know, in comparison to the other 2, it just wasn't as good. The bread is not as soft, and the spices on the chicken weren't as pronounced.
Yeah, but you seem to like it.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I love the fact that there was a little bit of lettuce. I like the sauce on it, and it's that crispy coating that, for me, got me.
All right, we got 2 cluckets for that one. We're gonna hold on that one. Number 2.
Number 2.
By the way, the first one was Wendy's brand chicken sandwich.
Ah.
2-1.
All right.
All right, chicken sandwich number 2. Cluck it or chuck it? Let's vote. Oh, 3 cluckets.
Yeah.
Ash, what do you like about this?
Seasoning. Yeah. All about the seasoning and the coating.
Yep.
Seasoning coating, everyone in agreement?
I mean, it's got some salt in there, and that tastes great.
All right, that sounds like it. That was actually a KFC brand chicken sandwich.
Oh.
KFC gets forgotten a lot in these battles. All right, sandwich number 3. Cluck it or chuck it?
I'm gonna say.
Oh.
Oh.
Chuck, what did you like about it?
Oh man, I'm alone, huh?
Yes. You're always on your own.
I gotta tell you, sandwich number 3, what I really liked about it was the fact that the chicken itself seemed to be moist and tender, and it doesn't have anything on it, okay? So I'm thinking, like, if this is the blank palette, if this is tabula rasa, who knows what wonders lie beyond when I add secret sauces?
Did he sway you with that? No? You wanted more spices?
The texture just isn't there for me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, that was Chick-fil-A.
What?
Yes.
Now we do have to say that, you know, this is not straight from the fryer.
No, it's not.
So the science of it being a little bit crispy does, get soggy over time.
It's not 100% fair comparison because it's not, as you say, right out of the restaurant. However, it's the closest we can get to it. Okay, so the chicken sandwich with the most cluck is the KFC brand. So could that sandwich hold up against a Popeyes sandwich? We wanted to know, so my team and I hit the streets to get our hands on one. Take a look. We're driving into the Popeyes restaurant here. May I have the Popeyes chicken sandwich, please?
We do not have the chicken sandwich yet, sir.
Well, how do I get one?
Well, I don't know. We don't have it.
That didn't go very well.
Thank you for calling Popeye's Guest Experience Line, and thank you for your patience. Our chicken sandwich is sold out at this time.
You don't have any Popeyes chicken sandwiches available?
No.
Well, how long are you going to be out of them, do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm calling again.
I'm checking Twitter. People are saying it's in Philly.
Are there sandwiches in Philly?
It's not in Philly.
Have we tried all the Popeyes, like New Jersey, Connecticut?
Can we fly the chicken sandwich to New York in parts?
I have an update for you on the Popeyes chicken sandwich situation.
Yep.
We tried everything. Our friends at Gimme Delicious, they have a knockoff recipe that everybody could try at home, so we might try that one.
You know, that could work. So we wanted to see if the KFC sandwich, which won our taste test, can beat the new Popeye sandwich knockoff from the folks at Gimme Delicious. Go ahead and give us a taste. Now, our tasting panel has tried both. We're gonna play some music while they confer. I will confide that I tasted this. I found this knockoff version crunchy, crispy.
You know?
Right. We made these fresh. That's a little.
Are you doing okay there?
This must be what prep feels like.
I've never had that before.
Oh my God.
It's delicious.
All right, confer. I need a vote here. Chuck, you have to vote for all three of you. Judges, get together. Get together. Just verbalize to Chuck if he can still speak.
What?
All right, Chuck, the winner.
Cluck it!
Cluck it!
This one right here, the homemade sandwich. I don't even know where it's from. I have no idea where have you been all my life? I love you.
All right, this is a Popeyes knockoff sandwich. It's from our friends at Gimme Delicious. It's on our Facebook page, so copy it, use it, share it with your friends. You're gonna be able to, listen, if you can make it fresh and it tastes this good, you'll go there. Please check out the Complete Cook's Country Cookbook. It contains every one of the recipes from all 12 seasons of the hit TV show. It's an amazing compilation of their years on PBS. On that note, we'll be right back. Nicely done. Is that it?
Dr. Oz, I finally got you on a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
I wasn't gonna share it with them anyway. Next, some are arguing emotional support animals have gone too far. If snakes on planes sounds outrageous, how about flying and peacocks? All month long, we're bringing you face to face with the outrageous, the most shocking and over-the-top news stories that we know you'll have an opinion on. And today we're asking the question, have we gone too far with emotional support animals? From miniature horses to monkeys to pigs, oh my, right? Folks are angry, they're sarcastic, but it's not funny for a lot of people. Today we're gonna show you both sides. Take a look. Old MacDonald had a plane? Stories are piling up of shocking incidents involving emotional support animals. Frightened passengers, agitated animals. Tense situations in confined spaces are leading to major drama in the sky. One Alabama man sued Delta Airlines and the owner of a service dog after an alleged in-flight attack left him bloodied and terrified. And this service horse caused a firestorm online after a recent flight to Chicago. There's turbulence down on the ground, too. A Missouri woman is locked in a bitter dispute with her neighbors to keep her 3 emotional support monkeys, which she says help her with her PTSD. Have we taken emotional support animals too far? Or is the trend a sign that we've finally broken the stigma of mental illness? The Transportation Department just declared that miniature horses should be prioritized as service animals, meaning they should be able to be in restaurants, places of business, even on flights. My next guest wanted to come here today to show us the benefits of having a miniature horse that is a service animal. So they flew in from Florida yesterday, and they documented their trip.
Here we go, JFK, baby.
Please welcome trainer Jessica Wellman and her miniature horse, Honey. Oh my goodness. Miniature's the right word. How are you? Matt.
How are you?
Hi, Honey.
Yeah, sure.
So you were front and center of a big controversy, a very popular image that went viral because the owner of the horse that was in that image is a good friend of yours. I'm going to show everyone the picture here.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to the angry comments that were the response to the post?
Typical, really. It really is, because they are still so unusual that people really aren't ready, you know, and they're not educated, you know, because unless you need an animal as a service animal, you tend to not be educated in what all is involved. So you get a lot of people who mix up a service animal with an emotional support animal.
And is Honey a support animal, or?
She is actually a service animal. She is trained to mitigate my disability, and she is what is called a mobility animal.
Perfect. So online people write some mean comments, and I've been there, right? You see the post, you think, what the heck, a horse on a plane? What is this about? You jump to reaction. Guys, we're never going to get anywhere that way. We got to hear both sides of every discussion. I certainly do. Let's walk in each other's shoes. That's how we'll figure this out.
It's really true.
Can you demonstrate how sophisticated this training is?
She does a lot of things. Like, for example, she will pick up dropped objects. So if I drop keys, my phone, or for this example, her leash on the floor, I can have her pick it up, and she will hand it back.
Oh my goodness!
And but she does other things where if I have to be in a wheelchair for any reason, I can actually grab her harness, and she can do assisted pulls up ramps that might be too steep. She can help me sit down safely if I'm having a really bad inflammation day. She can help get me up off of the floor. I mean, she does so many things for me. And miniature horses in general, there are so many things that they can do.
Has she ever been involved in an event that could have, by mistake, even harmed a person?
No, no.
So you're comfortable traveling with her?
Oh yes, 100%. Yeah, she's very much bomb-proof in that respect. Oh,
right,
you want to give kiss? Here, you give me a kiss. Thank you.
Do I get a kiss too from Honey?
You want to give him a kiss? Give him a kiss. There
Oh,
you go.
it was a real kiss. All right. Jessica, thank you very much. I wish you the best.
Yeah, sure.
Psychotherapist and author of the book, Heal Your Drained Brain, which looks at animal therapies. Here, Mike Dow, good friend, is going to shine some light on this from a clinical perspective. So, can you just, for all of us, just walk us down the row here of the different names? They're service animals, they're therapy animals, they're emotional support animals. I can't keep them straight. So what is that? Let's start with this first one.
Yes, so service animals are trained to do a specific task. So most people are familiar with seeing eye dogs, which are very visible to most people, but I think Honey just illustrated something to us that a lot of disabilities are invisible. So in terms of psychiatric illnesses, let's take the example of somebody who has panic attacks. A service animal could be trained to come up to their owner and provide pressure, and that could actually help that person to mitigate a panic attack, or it could actually help a person to take their medication, or to actually sniff out allergies. And they're also covered by the American with Disabilities Act. And if a business is going to come up and ask you, is this a service animal? They're actually only allowed to ask you two questions. The first is this animal required because of a disability? And what task is this animal trained to do? They're not allowed to ask you about your disability. They're not allowed to ask you for any documentation.
So in Jessica's case, she answered both those questions for us.
She did.
Okay, next category.
Then we have the therapy dogs. So in a hospice, in a hospital, in a psychotherapy office, these are the dogs that are designed to put a smile on people's faces. They're designed to really make us all smile, support, love, and comfort, but they're not designed to perform any specific task.
Okay.
And then finally, we have the emotional support animals. Now, emotional support animals also not designed to perform a specific task. However, they are designed to help people who have diagnosable mental illnesses like anxiety disorders to feel more comfortable. There are legal protections. They are allowed on airplanes, and they do help people with some of these disorders.
So this is where I think we're getting into a sticky situation, because a lot of folks believe that people walking around with these animals, these emotional support animals, are just doing it so they want to take their pet with them on their trip. So what's the paperwork to actually document this is legitimate?
Yeah, so they do have to be diagnosed by a licensed healthcare professional like me. They need to have somebody like me sign their form, and they do have to say that they do have a mental illness that requires this animal to accompany them on an airplane or to their hotel.
And I don't know how many of you feel this way, but I know folks are they're upset by some of the outrageous choices. There are peacocks, there are the miniature horses we just talked about, turkeys, monkeys, snakes.
Yeah.
I mean, really, snakes for emotional support? How does that work?
Well, it's actually changing, Dr. Oz. So, there's actually a lot of really sound research when it comes to dogs. We know that dogs help people live longer after heart attacks.
Dogs I'm good with. It's the peacocks and the snakes that I start to wonder if that's really essential for me to get on this plane.
That's a great point. And a lot of the airlines are actually saying these are the animals that are allowed to be emotional support animals. And it's actually in line with the research, too. So, I've seen the other side of the scenario where people used to take benzodiazepines. And I've seen people get addicted to these medications.
Yeah, buy a peacock. Over taking benzos for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Peacock's a better investment.
And for somebody to actually have that animal, we human beings, we are creatures who are meant to connect. And traveling is really stressful. So for people who have panic attacks or plane phobias, if traveling with your animal, if that animal is on a leash or in a carrier, which is, the airlines actually changed that as well, if that can help you, I, for one, am all for it.
All right, next, what if you're on a plane, you're seated next to someone with an emotional support animal, and you're uncomfortable with it? A former flight attendant with first-hand experience weighs in. That's next. Natalie Wood's death, an Oz exclusive. Her boat captain reveals never-before-heard details.
Robert Wagner was in a jealous rage.
All new Oz. That's coming up on Tuesday. Emotional support animals on the ground and in the sky have been making headlines lately and spurring some outrageous reactions from people. Now, some say they're an effective clinical aid for patients suffering from anxiety. Others say horses and snakes, peacocks, don't belong on planes no matter what the reason. It's a hot button topic up for debate, and we brought in just the right people to debate it. First up, Bobby Laurie, former flight attendant and travel blogger that made this pic of a peacock emotional support animal go viral. You all remember this picture? He's here with the airline employee perspective. And there's the always opinionated host of Bevelations on Sirius XM Radio, my good friend, Bevy Smith. And we're welcoming back Dr. Mike Dowd, because we trust his advice. Some say this emotional support stuff has gone too far. What would you say if you were sitting in a chair, in a seat, in an airplane, and there was an emotional support horse next to you?
Okay, Honey, please. That's what I would say. Honey is the cutest little horsey I've ever seen, but that is infringing upon my space. Especially, you know, with the high price of airline tickets and everything, you know, and they're tight enough, the seats are tight as they are, and now you have a horsey right there too. That's a problem for me.
Do you think people are gaming the emotional support wagon by arguing that this is there for helping, when in reality they just want to bring their pet along on the trip?
The emotional support thing is definitely, I know friends that are scamming the system.
Oh,
they literally have gone online and gotten letters from various kind of sites and things like that. You know,
she saves the $100 fee.
Exactly.
So this way, it's not a pet in the cabin. You're not traveling with your pet. You're traveling with an emotional support animal. So the airline doesn't charge you the fee.
I had no idea there was a charge for the animals.
Yeah, if you're flying with your pet, you have to buy it a ticket, which is usually like around $100. But if you have an emotional support animal, you don't need to pay that.
So Dr. Dow, you disagree, and you're the one writing the letters saying you can bring my pet horse on board.
I'm the one writing the letters, and I believe that the people that I write the letters for, I believe that they actually need them. And it is too bad.
But you're checking them out, though. I'm talking about people who are not even having to go and see a doctor like yourself, a therapist or anything. They're just simply going online and saying, you know, and buying a letter.
And those people could be ruining it for the people that I see who actually need it, right?
Exactly. Okay, so let me just tell you what just happened to me. I was flying cross country. I was in first class. So by the time I got on the plane, there was a man in my seat. And I said, "Hey, sir, that's actually my seat." And he says, "Oh, I have my emotional support dog." And he points down. And it's a pretty good-sized dog, like a German Shepherd. Not a ginormous one, but pretty good size. And because I'm afraid of dogs. So I'm like, well, do I make a fuss? Because it is my seat. I know I can take my seat. But if I do that, then what if the dog gets agitated? And then I'm sitting next to an agitated dog, and I'm afraid of dogs. So I had to sit in a seat that I didn't want to sit in. So, you know, I called up the airline and got me 50,000 additional miles.
There's my bevy. There's my bevy.
But part of the problem is the Department of Transportation doesn't differentiate between service animals and emotional support animals, and there is a difference.
Yes.
And the folks that are scamming the system do make a bad name for everyone else who actually needs it, because I've had a situation on the plane with a dog where the dog needed oxygen because the dog had a panic attack.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
goodness. And you have to administer oxygen to the dog.
Oh my goodness.
And it gives us, you know, we have that moment where we're like, who's providing the emotional support to who in this situation? And, you know, there's only so much oxygen on an airplane, and flight attendants are trained to help you in the event of a medical emergency. And now we're going to use that oxygen on your dog who's having the panic attack and maybe not have enough for someone.
Bobby, speak as a flight attendant to this issue. If someone's bringing a peacock on board, right? Now, how does that affect you? Is it a big deal? Not really?
Oh, it's a big deal. The peacock itself is a big deal. And it just creates a circus.
But also, Bobby, you also like to be the only peacock on the flight.
Yeah.
Right? Right? You want people
You
looking
walk
at
down
you
that aisle
and
like
taking
a runway.
Right, there you go.
It is a balancing act, you know, because I think we have these people with real disabilities, but then what do you do if somebody like you has a phobia or an allergy, right? And then what do you do as an airline employee?
Well,
what do? You reseat them,
This
right?
is going to be something where I'm sure we're going to hear gasps from the audience. If you are sitting next to someone with an emotional support or a service animal and you have an issue with that animal or you have an allergy, you are the person who gets reseated. Service animals are protected under the American with Disabilities Act, so you are that person who gets relocated.
Can I just ask a serious question here? Let's go down the line. Where do you draw the line? Because we know there's a time when people should be able to bring their support animals on. So where do you draw the line? You say, okay, no exotic animals, only have these. I would have thought that about horses until today.
Yeah. Right.
And I realized, you know, the horse can pull you in your wheelchair and you can lean on them. You can't do that with a, you know, with a little Labrador.
I think if there's research, and I think if it doesn't cause a fuss, so I think a dog, a cat, a miniature horse, I think there's research and good reason for all of those animals to help people.
Those three animals and no others. Baby, thoughts?
Well, I think that there's a new airline that's just starting to tell you where babies are being placed. I think that the airline should let us know where emotional support animals are going to be placed. Then that way I can say, oh, I can't sit there. I'm afraid of animals overall. So I think that that's a good way to do it.
I would say for service animals, if it's an approved service animal that's been through the training, there needs to be no regulation on it. I mean, there needs to be the regulation on it, but they shouldn't be removed.
It's already there.
Emotional support, I say it should be able to go back into a carrier. So if it does create a problem on the plane, because they sometimes do, they're not trained to behave certain ways under certain situations, like the dog with the panic attack. Yeah. I think if that's the step that's taken, then there's a way to solve the problem in flight, because otherwise you're in the air. How do you solve the problem?
You know what I love about this? You all disagree with each other, but I actually heard what you had to say, which is how we make the place a little better.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Next, outrageous x-rays you have to see to believe. We're bringing you the most outrageous headlines, and today we're talking about the most outrageous x-rays that you have to see to believe, right? We know our kids are notorious for swallowing things like coins. See the coin in there? Right in the throat, right? And even their toys. Ooh, not so good. But I couldn't believe these outrageous x-rays, right? You're never gonna believe how these objects found their way into the body. You'll be shocked to find out how some of them made their way out. Here to help me break it down and with how this actually breaks down in your system is gastroenterologist and author of What the Yuck with Dr. Rashini Raj. So if you swallow something, biggest question moms have, how do you know if you should just leave it there or go after it? Because you got to see a doctor.
Right. Well, you certainly want to ask your doctor. Don't just make that decision on your own. But when we as doctors hear these stories, we need to take into account how big is the object? Does it have sharp edges to it? Is it going to be able to pass through your system without causing too much damage? That's the question.
You ready for the first x-ray?
Let's do it.
You get the stories, all right?
Yes.
All right, can you guess what our first x-ray is? What's the object inside there? Well, you got that pretty well. All right. If folks can tell us the ring. By the way, how did they get there? And tell us what you would do if someone came to you with this problem.
Sure. So it's a bit of a crazy story. It's an engagement ring, and we actually spoke to the couple. The fiance put it in a milkshake, and he was going to give it to his, about-to-be fiance and some of her friends, and sort of see which one got it in their cup. But she quickly swallowed it. They were doing a contest to see who could finish the milkshake first. She ended up swallowing the ring. Not the intended consequence, of course. He panicked. They took her to the doctor. They took her to the hospital. But the good news about this ring is actually it didn't have really sharp edges, and it was relatively small. So in this case, the decision was made to actually let it pass naturally, which it did. And he eventually got that ring, cleaned it off, of course, and was able to propose properly.
Out of curiosity, you just audit what's coming out in your poop. You take the poop, chop it up, and look in there.
Yeah, there are ways you can strain it, you collect it. If it's an expensive engagement ring, you better believe you're going to be looking at that.
All right, so next x-ray is something is not just outrageous, it's sort of a miracle.
It really is.
Look at this x-ray. That's a pair of shears stuck in the middle of someone's head.
Yeah.
Explain what we're looking at.
So this was, of course, such a frightening case. A 2-year-old boy was running, tripped, fell on some tongs, these sharp tongs. They look kind of like this.
So mom is right when she says don't run with the scissors.
Exactly right. I mean, this was so scary, and it pierced the upper cheek, went 5 centimeters into the skull, and miraculously, It didn't affect the parts of the brain that were vital. This kid actually survived, but it did require surgery to remove, of course.
So the thing is, when you go in deep like that, and it looks horrible from the outside,
It does.
it probably, we don't know for sure, but probably penetrated the skull back here somewhere.
Yeah.
But I suspect he was an inch from death.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. In the brain, just a millimeter or two can make a huge difference. He was extremely lucky that it didn't affect anything.
All right, before you go, a reminder, don't put anything in your body that isn't food. Did I get that right?
Absolutely right.
The GI docs, ER doctors, they all tell you everywhere, no matter what, only food goes in your body. We'll be right back. Do you know who's in your bed every night? Could it be this guy? Ooh, so cute. That little mite. Or how about this guy? Look familiar? And that's not all. The old internet rumor machine says your bed collects approximately 7 pounds of dead skin and sweat and dirt and those creepy crawlies every single year. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But could it be true? Well, recently a mom out of Australia posted this picture. Look at it. All of this came from just vacuuming her mattress. Look at that. This photo got us thinking. Do you know what's lurking in your bed? And what's the most outrageous mattress in America anyway? We asked you to send in what you found after cleaning your mattresses, and this is the result.
I'm going to vacuum my mattress just to see how dirty it really is.
Okay, that is a lot of dirt.
Oh my God! Can you believe that's on my mattress?
That's how dirty it is.
Ew.
I think it's time for a new mattress, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, I'm really concerned what's on my mattress. My water broke on it 20-something years ago, and I want to know if it's filled with bacteria and dirt and grime and what else could be growing over those 20 years. Please help us.
So we brought their mattress here to find out what, if any, dirt and dust they might be rolling around in every night. There's the team right there, squeezing it out through the door, finally making it all the way to our studio. Ann and Paul are here. That's a pretty surprising story. First of all, I gotta say this. The fact that you broke your water before you gave birth to your daughter on this mattress is sort of cool, but a little eerie, because here's a picture of what she looked like back then and what she looks like now. She's all grown up. That's not a stain from her, is it?
Yes.
It is? From the water breaking?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But why is this mattress so sentimental to you?
Because it's our marital mattress. We've had it for a long time. We've had a lot of cuddles with the family in it when the kids were sick. You name it. We've all slept on this mattress.
So once we got our hands on it, we're able to do some analyses. Are you willing to let me share what we found with you and everybody else?
Yes.
All right, come on over. Okay. We had our medical unit vacuum the mattress, then swab down the mattress, and we collected it and sent it to a lab. All right, and here are the results. We tested for fungus, first of all. Come close, I want you to see this fungus.
Oh.
That's what it looks like, a fungus. And, well, it came back positive for yeast and mold.
Oh.
Wonderful.
So you've got some of these little babies sprouting inside that mattress. But I actually wasn't as worried about the fungus, although it can cause allergies and cause other irritants. I was a bit more concerned about bacteria. And we tested and found there were 2.5 million colony-forming units, which is a lot of bacteria. But it wasn't just that there was a lot of bacteria, it was also the kinds of bacteria. We found coliform bacteria. Those are, I don't know how to say this, those are associated with feces.
Oh.
And finally, we looked for dust mites, right? Because there's so many of them in the world around us. And we found 40 mites per gram of dust, which is, again, a fair number of mites. You got the mites, you got the bacteria, you got the fungus, you got a whole ecosystem going on in there.
Ouch.
Thoughts?
That's not good.
No.
That's not
Am I thinking you might want to change up your approach to your mattress?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Come on over here. Like, I know you're hesitant to get a new mattress, and a lot of folks are worried because it can be expensive. So, the author of What the Yuck, Dr. Roshini Raj, is here. She's the expert on all things yucky. And you have an idea that might work for a lot of folks.
Absolutely. So a mattress protector, that can actually keep out the dust mites, even bed bugs, so that's a great way to keep it a little bit more hygienic. And then also you can get a pillow top mattress pad, and that's gonna help with the evenness so it's more comfortable and you're not gonna have as many aches and pains when you sleep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But I think if I found coliform bacteria in my mattress and mites and fungus, and if I had grown a young woman into probably becoming a mom herself pretty soon, I would consider doing a little bit more for you. So I really appreciate you letting us violate the inner sanctum of your home. And to reward you for this, I've got a little gift for you if you'll take it. All right? Our partners at Linen Spa are sending you home with a brand new Linen Spa 10-inch memory foam mattress with a Linen Spa mattress protector, sheets, comforter, even the pillows. The clean mattress will help you avoid allergens. It won't be so lumpy. Hopefully you'll have less aches and pains. Sleep's the most important thing you can do with your life, so enjoy another 24 years with a new mattress.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back. We're back. This year, we're talking about the power of one, the power we all have to make change in the world. And Dr. Kwan is a great example of this. He's known as the street vet, providing medical care for pets of the homeless. Take a look.
Being on the streets is not harder to own a pet. In your case, it's what keeps you going.
It does. It does. Because they keep me going. They make me get up and move and pack my stuff up because I know take care of it. This is my family. They love me.
Joining us now via Zoom is Dr. Kwan Stewart. So Dr. Kwan, when did you first get the idea to start your street roaming clinics for animals in need?
Well, I was a shelter vet for a lot of years earlier in my career, and it was then that I realized there is this enormous need out there, and a lot of people don't have the resources or money to care for their pets, and these are people with jobs. Yeah. So I got the crazy thought one day to go set up a table near a homeless food bank and just offer service to anybody that was in line who had a pet. And so to have a stranger approach them and offer services to the thing they love most in the world, we walk away as friends when we're done, and of course their pet is better for it.
It's so easy to see a problem and just walk right by. But you're truly someone embracing the power of one, so please keep it up. For more information on how you can support Dr. Kwan and his street vet team, go to his GoFundMe page. We're going to share a link on DrOz.com. Everybody, the power of one lies in you. Just one person with one voice. All you got to do is speak the truth. Goodbye.